inquiry is the pedagogical focus of Session 4. In Houston, Texas, Jorge Arredondo and his students begin a unit on Tomas Rivera's And the Earth Did Not Devour Him. They meet a translator of Rivera's work, conduct internet research based on themes in the novel, and interview members of the school community.
Any type of question that you have, feel free to research it when we go to the library. And if it leads you somewhere else, let it take you somewhere else, because your curiosity is good, okay? I don't want to limit anybody to find a topic for me. I want you to find a topic for yourself, okay? How about you share with me a couple of your questions so that the group can start to get a good idea of what we're talking about. Who would like to start off by sharing?
Okay, what I want to know is what was the age of the workers, the migrant workers, if they had to start at a young age, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, like if there was any child labor and stuff.
Okay, child labor laws, okay. Were there laws back then? Are there laws today to make sure that children aren't being mistreated, especially working out in the fields, especially as we have learned from the book And the Earth Did Not Devour Him? Okay.
One of the fascinating things about reading literature is that there's an interaction that you have between the text and the reader. And inquiry is about questioning, it's about formulating questions and asking yourself, how can I find these answers to these questions? And then making more questions about those questions. That's what the whole book has been about. And so inquiry really serves itself very well so they can actually capture the essence of And the Earth Did Not Devour Him and what Tomas Rivera actually had intended for his readers.
I want to know how women contributed to the huelga.
The huelga, there's a strike going on, especially Cesar Chavez is starting to shape the civil rights movement, sort of, for Mexican Americans. And some of y'all might want to devote some time into who were the leaders at this time period, okay? Like Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta.
Also, like the hardships of migrating to over here, like crossing the river, and how they had to come over here with any documents and find a job quickly so to earn money and give back to their families.
That's good, excellent. Mr. Fortune.
I want to know how high was your educational level.
Very good. Someone else might have another question? Okay.
I want to know how the Mexican government felt that their people are coming to the United States, and how the American government felt that, you know, the Americans are not making enough money and that migrants are supporting this country.
Also, if you look up like the Bracero program, which was an agreement between the Mexican and the United States government, that might help you out. Someone else have some questions they want to share? Okay.
I want to know, like, if the laws have changed since the huelga, since they like protested and stuff, if they get more rights now, if they could drink water, like the story says that the boss wouldn't let them drink water.
Okay, very good. In the story, that's a good connection you made with the book. Okay, so some of y'all are bringing up some very good questions. I've given y'all some websites, and they're great websites. I set aside some books that aren't related to this time period, and they're going to help you. So let's go ahead and go downstairs to the library at this time.
What I like about this teacher is he doesn't in any way limit the range of questions that might be asked. He's very enthused about the questions that they're operating. I mean, I think that's how you begin to open up space in your classroom for students to really take ownership of that classroom.
Oh, Chavez, yay! I like that.
So they can have like an amnesty.
The typical Mexican worker earns 1/10 his American counterpart.
Also, they earn 1/10 of what an American born here would earn.
Yeah.
Tell me again your question.
One of the things that I really like that we're seeing in this classroom is a teacher who is working very diligently at validating where these students are coming from and their histories.
What are you finding out?
He's selected a novel that relates to these students. They can see themselves in this book and in this story, and he's really giving voice to not only these students but to their historical backgrounds.
Look, can you see why most of the Mexican immigrants came illegally, and why they were so eager to cross the border?
Well, her boss hit her, and she had her left hand was sprained and was hit in the face until she bled.
Wow, and this is something that's happening in the United States?
All around the world
Oh,
And
okay. There's different migrant experiences throughout the world.
And with little kids too. I went to a child labor website, and it says about a little kid got dehydrated, and his boss or whatever beat him while he was dehydrated, and he got home in a coffin.
Oh, it seems like that story is really touch you. I hope you incorporate that in your story.
I will.
Okay, good.
But what I'm looking for is how they treat them. If they did, what ages did they start? You know.
Child workers between the ages of 5 and 14. That's very young. They even worked full time.
If I could have brought all this information and lectured it in the classroom, it would not have had the same impact. By making them inquire and develop these questions and then find those answers out for themselves, and then they want to come share those with me, I think it has a much deeper impact on their knowledge.
Let the spirit flourish and grow so that we will never tire of the struggle. Let us remember those who have died for justice, for they have given us life. Help us love even those who hate us, so we can change the world. Cesar E. Chavez. He was born in Yuma, Arizona.
Mr. Arredondo, we found this website that has like the living conditions for immigrants. It's about the immigrants of the Irish people, but it closely resembles those of the Mexicans. And right here in this picture, it shows like one of the houses that they live in.
Oh, wow.
It shows how they have to hang their clothes to dry, and how their mattresses and where they sleep is horrible. And this one, it shows their entire community and where they live. And, like, shows everyone's houses and how they're poorly made. And
this page talks about how they used to hunt like immigrants in Arizona, like for a sport. It was it was barely like 2 years ago in 2000 in August.
Oh, so that's something that's still going on today.
Tomás Rivera's In the Earth Did Not Devour Him is a very rich text for an inquiry approach, because it is really rooted in historical moments. It does have the real life feel and sound of what was happening during the 1940s and 50s in the migrant stream, in small town Texas and in the big agricultural farms of the Midwest. And so through inquiry, students can find out about the Bracero program that allowed guest workers in from Mexico, how they were treated. They can find out about the vicious cycle of migrant farm workers going from South Texas, where Tomás Rivera hailed from, all the way up to Nebraska and South Dakota and Minnesota.
They got another picture down there too?
They got a picture
By
here.
using inquiry, it will allow teachers to meet the standards of their state curriculum, definitely. Because by using this, it not only allows students to have this knowledge base, this wide knowledge base, but it also gets them to question who is in control of this knowledge. Are there other sources that contradict this? Are there other sources that support my view? Or wait a minute, that might not be my view anymore. I've been hearing other people, and now I'm changing my view.
Everybody's doing a great job. I just want to congratulate you. It seems like y'all are starting to understand what research is all about. You seem to have gone into some inquiry, and then you went to other places. It's great. Hopefully we'll continue this, and you'll have some great finished products when we get toward the end. Hey, y'all have a good day. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good morning, class. How's everybody doing today? Okay, class. So we started this unit by reading and responding with the book And the Earth Did Not Devour Him, with the vignettes and the short stories, and it served as a source for us. And then we got the translator to come in and talk to us a little bit, and you guys were able to ask her questions about your topics that you want to do a piece of writing on. And also, you had an opportunity to go to the library and gather some data to see if it would answer your questions. And some of y'all, you're almost ready to write at this point. Some of y'all probably are not ready to write at this point. And that's why we're going to go ahead and interview custodial workers. Okay, and these are the people that work here, and many times we overlook, kind of similarly to what we've read with Tomás Rivera's book, of the people who work long hours, who don't get paid much, and yet, without their work, the school wouldn't be what it is today. By asking open-ended questions, you can get some real rich information from that person, some real good personal stories, in the event that you decide to probably put this in a narrative form. Okay, some of y'all are going to gather this information and you might want to put it in an essay form. Okay, some of y'all are going to also maybe write poetry. I know a few of y'all have talked to me about putting together a ballad and playing some music, some folklore music, and that's good also.
What's happening in this classroom is that the teacher hasn't closed down the options for the student. In actual fact, the teacher's opened the door so that kids can create a mural, they can create music. There's an invitation to think about this from a number of other perspectives than just the traditional essay. It really suggests that literacy in the 21st century is a different beast.
So if you could, go ahead and get your questions together and make sure we remember that what's the number one thing we want to make sure we do when we're interviewing?
Respect.
Good.
¿Hasta qué grado llegó usted?
Terminé high school.
What grade did you come up to? She finished high school. ¿Cómo es su trabajo diariamente?
Es fuerte, es muy pesado porque trabajamos mucho. Tenemos que tener limpiar toda la escuela, los pasillos, los baños. Yo entro a cafetería a limpiar, después los salones.
We asked her how is her daily work, and she said it's very hard. You have to clean the cafeteria, the restroom.
How did you get to the USA?
My dad brought all the family from Mexico to here. My dad was working from this ranch, and then when my dad died, me and my older brothers, we had to get out of school to support the family. And it was a family of 8.
Once you talk to someone who's physically present there and you hear the story, you see their eyes, you feel their emotion as they're telling you this story, and you hear how they're answering your question.
In Indiana, Michigan, immigrant work, and picking tomatoes, cherry, strawberry.
That serves as a very great resource because it is not something that's just on paper, but it is actually a story being told.
So do you have any advice for like us that we're growing up and ready to go out into the world and find ourselves something?
Keep studying and do what your teachers tell you. If I could have studied more, maybe I would be something else, you know.
What is your name?
¿Cómo se llama usted?
José Ángel Martínez.
Do you ever get discriminated?
¿No lo discriminan aquí?
No, ¿por qué? Soy trabajador. No puede.
He's a worker here, so they can't discriminate him.
When we were in the library, the students had inquired about how there was this bracero program. People from Mexico could come here to the United States and work temporarily, and once the work was over, they could go back to Mexico. Interestingly, while we were talking to one of the custodial workers, he begins to tell us a story. Listen, someone came to my dad's ranch and asked my dad, would one of his children want to be one of the guest workers to come to the United States? And we find out that he was actually one of those that were part of the bracero program. And then he showed us his card. That served as a testament of how history is still very much with us today. And I thought that was a great experience for the students to see.
About the book that we've been reading, there's a story in there about a little boy who got killed trying to go drink water when he worked on the farm. So we want to know, how do they treat you when you first got here from the ranch to work at the ranch?